All right, guys, today I just picked up the Nismo roof rack and then also the Nismo high Overland bed rack. And so I'm going to install both of these. The first video I'm going to do is the roof rack. Check out my next video for the bed rack. So it's already open. Let me just give a tip to for something big like this. I mean, this is a big purchase for me, about $1,000. I would just have them open it up at the dealership and inspect it. And I did so and just noticed right here, looks like on the powder coating, it's maybe hard to see, but on the powder coating, there's just kind of like a little splatter here. And I mean, I probably can just pick that off or even grind it off. And yeah, I just picked that one off and it's fine. And so I can just touch that up a little bit. But my dealership knocked a little over $100 off just because of that little splatter there. And so just be sure to have something like this checked out before you drive off with it. I'm pretty far from my dealership, and had I got here and seen that, I would have been a little frustrated and would have paid full price. And then if I wanted to go back, it would have been a 2-hour drive. So just make sure you have something like this checked out before you go home with it. This should be a 2-person job, but I'm gonna attempt to do it by myself. I'm just not gonna put the whole rack together before getting it on top. I'm just gonna get kind of the frame up and then attach more crossbars, just stand on the side of the truck. I know I'm gonna need Torx bit set. My bits are at a different place, so I'm just gonna have to hand crank it, and then just a couple of ratchet sets. My wrenches are not with me either, so I'm just gonna have to use I believe it's 7/16 set sockets to tighten some bolts. Also, I recommend getting some towels, just because you are going to be up on the roof moving around some heavy machinery, heavy steel, and I don't want to scratch it within the first month of having this truck. So get some towels, that way you can kind of lay those on top of the roof and protect your roof while you're installing this. So just out of the box, just got all the pieces, nice instructions printed out. Guessing some bolts. Must be the sides. Crossbars. Okay, seems easy enough. This is nice and heavy, durable material, so I'm excited about the weight of it, but not too heavy. It's not going to weigh my car down or truck down too much. I'm going to get my tools and get this framed up. It's actually not Torx, they're hex bits, so sorry about that. And then brought some masking tape and a measuring tape. We have to measure so far from the windshield. The dealership said that the instructions are a little off when they did their installs. They kind of set the brackets more back towards the bed of the truck, so we'll see if that's true. So I'm doing the kind of framing up on my bed. I've got a gravel driveway and don't want to scratch this up. I want it to look new. Let the road scratch it up. And so I'm just using some of the packing material, even just in the bed. I think the bed material is fine. And it looks, this is how wide it's going to be. So I'm just going to frame it up here in the bed of the truck. I'm going to try to orient it the same way as the truck's sitting, so the front of it will be there, and then maybe I can just pick it up and move it there. I might ask for some help from someone to do that if it's too much. I've got the brackets undone, so these are the ones that are going to fit the curve of the roof. And so there's 4 of those, and then there's 4 of these that actually slide in the channel on the roof and then attach to the rack. So I'm impressed with the size of these online. Honestly, they look really tiny, and I was a little nervous about how that they were going to secure the rack long term, but dealership said they hadn't had any problems. People bringing it back saying that it was not secure. So excited about that as well. Okay, so I'm working on the front here. The front lays on top of the side rail, and you just have to put in a bolt, the lock washer, and a flat washer through here. The nut is actually welded onto the inner side of the side, if I can get a good view. And so you'll just screw that in. It says do it by hand first, and then work on the other side. I think it has us bolt some more stuff before we tighten everything down. All right, I flipped this around. I was tired of working back there in the bed of the truck. So I flipped this around. I actually flipped it upside down so you can see the Nismo logo there. Nismo logo. So this is that crossbar. Had 3 bolts put through. So again, we're looking from the underside. 2 bolts and washers went over here and on this side. And then those 3 bolts had to line up with these brackets, and then a washer and bolt go on. You do need a wrench. All this is in standard, and I've got metric. And so I found a 11 millimeter wrench. So you do need to have a wrench to be able to get in here and tighten all this up. You're then supposed to put all the crossbars in. I'm just going to do the back end. And then go from there, because maybe the one in the middle, and then I'll add in the rest once it's on top. It's not heavy yet, but once all those crossbars get added in, I think it's going to get a little heavy, and I won't be able to do this by myself. So I'll work on that. Okay, so I've got 3 done, the front, the middle, and the back. I've got 2 more to go there, 2 more to go here in the rear. But I think if I put any more, it's going to get too heavy for me to put on by myself. So next I need to install the roof brackets. So there's 4 here. You can kind of tell there's 2 that are taller, 2 that are shorter. These go in the channel on the roof, this little wider edge here, and then this actually hooks onto this, and so these 2 go together to form the mount. And these taller ones go to the front of the vehicle, the shorter ones go to the back, and so I'm going to get all those 4 on now. I tried to put the brackets on, and they're just not staying up by themselves. So I'm just going to go ahead and move the rack into place, and then put those brackets in and try to maneuver all of it to figure out where it needs to best go, so that those brackets sit flush against the vehicle. I'm also going to clean my door, or the roof here, just so there's not grime right when I'm installing it. Well, I'm glad I bought this thing. It's going to help. Just got this off Amazon. I'll post it in the link. Just helps you step up. I don't think they sell ladders like they do for Toyotas or 4Runners. But this will be a nice step so that I can adjust this. So I've got this up. Dealership says it really needs to meet right at the front of the windshield. I've got my towels on here, so I'll just lift them up where needed. Just hoping not to scratch the roof while I'm working. Okay, I've got this up, situated, and tried to get it center. Get some blankets, get a towel, make sure your roof's nice and covered if you're doing this by yourself, because you're going to scratch your car up, because it takes a lot to get it up there and get it just right. Reading further into instructions, these mounts will mount into the 2nd bar, which I don't have attached, and the 6th bar, which I don't have attached. So while I'm up here, I'm just going to go ahead and attach the rest of these before I get working on these brackets. All right, I've got all the crossbars installed. I'm kind of hit some frustration here. I don't know if I needed some, something to make this not lock, but like some of these screws, like I just cannot I've almost stripped this out trying to get it screwed in. I just cannot get it any further, so I'm gonna have to get some pliers to just pull it out, or maybe some pliers to screw it in. Then I'm looking here, and this hole's not even threaded, so I can't actually even put a screw in there. So I'm gonna call the dealership tomorrow and see what they can do for me. And then this one is threaded, but not big enough. I cannot get the screw in there. I'm gonna play with it some more after I get it mounted, but these holes are just kind of frustrating me right now. Some were great, others were not so much. So be prepared for that maybe. Okay, I've got the driver's side brackets loosely on. I measured from the front of the windshield, went exactly 8 inches. It said approximately 8 inches, so I know I'm gonna have to play around with this a little bit. And then from this mark of the front of the bracket to back to that one, it's supposed to be 40 inches. You can kind of see it sticking off the roof a little bit. I haven't tightened all these down. I've just got them loosely bolted. So I'm gonna work on the passenger side, just loosely bolt it and then start playing around with it to try to get it exactly square and then tighten it down. Okay, this took longer than expected. I did end up unhooking all the brackets and moving it up. You know, some of these sit fairly nicely on the you know, roof of the truck. On the other side, not so much. It is nice and centered. You can kind of see, you know, kind of meets the edge of that channel on both sides. I did like moving it up on the front towards the window, mainly because this angle of the truck matches this indentation here, so I just really like how that lines up there. Still, I called the dealership. They're going to replace 2 of these crossbars, and so that's nice that they're able to do that. I just have to make the drive. Again, like this one, it just doesn't sit right flush. I feel like there's just a little bit of a gap that I don't like. You can see what it looks like down above the front windshield. The way I had it moved back, it was kind of sitting right on the roof, and then moving it forward kept it off a little bit. I don't know if this is how I like it or not. You know, I could see this allowing air to go up underneath, which could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. I don't know, it was pretty loud driving around today with it. The instructions say it should take about an hour and a half. That's surely if you have 2 people and you're a mechanical engineer. This took me 4 hours yesterday and then an hour today just messing around with these brackets, trying to move it forward on the roof. I just measured the space up there for a light bar, and it is about 41.5 inches at the base and kind of goes up to about 42.5 inches at the top. So I'm thinking it'll fit a 41-inch light bar, and that's what I'm going to order for the top. So far, I really like it. I like the sturdiness of it and the design. And would recommend if you've got a friendly dealer who will inspect it and then have to replace some parts if it doesn't turn out, if some of the parts don't turn out great. Yeah, feel free to like, subscribe, and comment. Sorry for the long video, but this was a long install. Hope you get yours, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out.